Welcome to Lemoore City Council Chambers located at 429 C Street. This is the May 5th City Council meeting along with the concurrent special meeting. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you. If you could please stand for the invocation given by Pastor Aaron Ash from Lifeway Church and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
All heads bowed and all eyes closed, and out of reverence for the Lord, please. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you this evening, Lord, asking for your blessing and your guidance in all that will take place, Father. We need your favor. We need you, Father. Lord, as elections are upon us again and commercials are happening and the ballots just showed up in the mail today, Father, Lord. May there be a spirit of unity and love for one another, understanding, grace, and mercy for those that don't agree with us. We pray for your blessing. Lord, I pray for a blessing upon this council that is seated before me, Lord, that is standing before me, Lord, and will be seated soon, Lord. Bless each and every one of them, Father, and all that they do that is in your name. And we pray these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, and all God's people said, amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. And now we'll move on to roll call.
Councilmember Brewster.
Here.
Councilmember Lyons.
Present.
Councilmember Cruz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Gornick.
Here.
And Mayor Matthews.
Here. Thank you. Now we have agenda approval additions and or deletions.
Staff has no changes.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and move on to ceremonial presentation. Item 1-1, International Museum Day Proclamation. So I'm going to start off by reading the proclamation, and then I know we do have somebody that would like to speak from the museum. A few people maybe that would like to speak. So we'll start with the proclamation. Proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Lemoore, International Museum Day, May 18th, 2026. International Museum Day, whereas International Museum Day has been recognized each year since 1977 by the International Council of Museums, and whereas International Museum Day represents a unique moment for the international museum community to raise awareness about the fact that museums are an important means of cultural exchange, enrichment of culture, and development of mutual understanding. And whereas more than 37,000 museums across approximately 158 counties and territories participate in the annual event to advocate for the role of museums, and whereas the Museum Alliance of Tulare Kings Counties is a collaboration of 27 organizations in our area formed to implement partnerships and gain visibility in our communities. And whereas preservation of our local history through museums is a priority as they provide opportunities for our community to connect with local history in impactful ways. And whereas bringing awareness to historical and cultural organizations will promote community support that is critical for sustainability of our museums. And whereas Sarah A. Mooney has preserved our local history and is creating a Lower Kings River Research Library for the community members to learn details of our earliest beginnings, offers tours of the historic Mooney home with period furnishings, offers community events that highlight our local history, Christmas open house, presentation of local legends who have impacted Lemoore's history, old-time ice cream social, and special age-appropriate elementary student tours. Now therefore, that the Lemoore City Council does hereby recognize May 18, 2026 as International Museum Day in Tulare County to Kings County. We also recognize the importance of museums to our communities and the benefit of working together to preserve these valuable institutions for the future enjoyment of our residents. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed this 5th day of May 2026. That's the proclamation. Mr. Betcher, would you like to speak? Whoever would like to speak, please come forward. Make a line if you need to.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tracy Polconico. I am the Executive Director of Arts Visalia, and we are a member of the Tulare Kings Museum Alliance. And I just wanted to thank you for recognizing us. And as a group, we are very happy to all collaborate and make sure that this cultural enrichment opportunities maintain a presence in both Kings and Tulare counties. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, council members, Mayor Pro Tem Amanda Stone, on behalf of the Kings County Arts Council, here in full and complete support of the Tulare Kings Museum Alliance, to thank you for this proclamation today, honoring the cultural significance that our museums serve and remembering or helping us to remember where we come from, and remind us where we can go. Thank you.
Thank you.
City Manager Trejo, Mayor Matthews, and the rest of the council, thank you for this distinct honor on the upcoming National Museum Day for May 18th. The Ceremony Museum has been in continuous operation now for 50 years. We were established in 1976, and we plan to celebrate that 50-year anniversary this year in October. As was mentioned in the proclamation, we have different activities that we have annually, including school field trips that we have at the museum, and that's always a lot of fun. We have MIQ coming May 18th. And I'd just like to introduce some of our other board members that we have tonight. If you'll stand, Sunny Law, Bill Black, Betty Brown, and Linda Manuels. I think between them, there's probably 100 years of experience at the museum. I know that this
Bill's
is
got most of those years, I think.
Yeah, right. Well, it takes this kind of dedication to keep something like a nonprofit small museum in a small town going. And I'm proud to say that we're thriving. But anyway, thank you all for recognizing us, and hopefully we can continue to offer all of our amazing field trips and free tours and other events that we have throughout the year. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture with you all?
You're all going or shit? You can stand back here. Just stand back with me. There's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one off, yeah. No, you guys go there. Hello. Hey, fella. Hold it tight so the wrinkles will not from.
Hey, Billy. Hey, Bill.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's an alternative.
We were out to.
Now we'll go ahead and go to. Wait, is there anybody here from Public Works?
More.
Oh, I was hoping I wouldn't have to read it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and go on to item 1-2, National Public Works Week Proclamation. Proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Lemoore, National Public Works Week, May 17th through 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by community. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the City of Lemoore. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services would not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the city of Lemoore to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of the public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, by the mayor and city council, we herein proclaim the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in the city of Lemoore, and urge all citizens to join in paying tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our health and safety and advancing the quality of life for all. In witness hereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Lemoore to be affixed this 5th day of May 2026. Jamar, would you like to speak?
He has a speech written.
You have to say at least as many words as I just did.
No, that's not gonna happen. Thank you guys for the opportunity just to, recognize us for, our contributions to the city. For me, I do it, for my kids, and I'm from Lemoore, so getting the opportunity to give back is an opportunity. So I appreciate you guys, for the week, and yeah, continue on this journey, and more projects come around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to ask you for a picture as well.
I say the same thing. It's just him, should we go down? Yeah, it's just, Come on. Yeah.
You guys need to get way closer together.
Oh, Diego's coming too. Now we can. That they get sheets and can't get up here. Oh, no. Well, hold it up. Oh, now it's.
You still have to you still have to get a little bit closer. Ready? Okay, and then Jamar didn't give a speech because he said you were gonna do it when you got here.
This. No.
Diego, why did you sit down so fast? Okay, now we'll move on to study session. Item 2-1, budget workshop, draft budget fiscal year 26-27.
Good evening, council, staff, and community. I am Jocelyn Valdez, the finance director. And tonight we're going to go over the draft budget for the fiscal year of 26-27. Give it a minute to come up. There we go. All right, you can go ahead and go to the first slide, please. So the City of Lemoore budget is comprised of 70 functioning funds. The combined revenues and expenditures creates the city's operational budget. The projected city beginning balance for fiscal 27 is $80,868,334. Total proposed revenues of $61 million and total proposed expenditures of $85 million. So we are looking at ending fiscal 27 with a fund balance of $56 million. So going into the
Excuse me.
individual funds,
But what's your projected ending balance for this fiscal year, June 30? Is
for
that it?
26, yeah, those will be in the next slides.
So the number you gave us
is for the total of every fund available for fiscal 27. But then we'll still go over your general fund and your enterprise funds for the current fiscal year.
Okay. So on the first page, so this projected beginning balance
Is where fiscal 26 is going to end.
26.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you said 27. Okay. All right.
The beginning balance would be the end of fiscal 26, and the end balance will be fiscal 27.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So first, we're going to talk about our proposed position allocations. For fiscal year 26, we adopted with a total of 122 positions. For fiscal 27, we are looking at 157.5 positions. The difference of that being that we reclassified 25 rec positions that we previously used to pay out of professional contract services. They are now all part-time staff members. Looking to add that business service specialist that we spoke about. 4 groundskeepers, 3 of which would be replacing the Westgapes contract. 4 police officers to create the 4th beat, 1 dispatcher, and 1 community services director.
Sorry, that should be community development director.
Yes, I forgot to change that. Okay, and then we put together a couple of slides to show the organizational chart and how each area is laid out. So the first one we're looking at is our citywide, where our citizens of Lemoore oversee all of the city operations. We have city council, the city manager, the respective departments, and the divisions underneath each department. You'll notice there are a few asterisks, and those are contracted positions. Okay, then we have the administration organization chart with city manager, city clerk, the 2 staff that report to her. We have human resource division and parks and rec division. Community development organization, I'm looking to create that community development director. Who will oversee community services with the building inspectors, planning department, and the building specialist that we're looking to add. The finance department organization chart with myself as the finance director. We have looking to move the IT department under finance, our finance manager and finance staff with utility billing, and the payroll technician as well. Then we have the police department organization, police chief with his executive assistant and 2 housing units, the support services and the operations with their respective staff reporting to each. And lastly, we have the public works department with public works director, the analysts that report to him, the public works assistant to public works director, the fire moving to reporting to public works, and each of the divisions underneath public works. Okay, so we're going to move into going over general fund first. One thing that I've realized as I've started to attend conferences and trainings elsewhere is that we don't do a good job of going back over where we end with previous fiscal years. When we go over the budget right now, mostly we've been talking about fiscal 26 and fiscal 27, but we never came back to you yet to say, where did we end with fiscal 25? And we are still going through the audit at the moment, which will be completed very soon. So these are unaudited numbers, but I did want to bring back what fiscal 25 looked like for us. So these aren't exactly hard in stone, but they're pretty dang close. We don't expect much change to happen to them, if any. So the beginning of fiscal 25, we had 14.1 million in a fund balance. We ended with revenues of 17.1 million and our expenditures at 15.7. So the ending fund balance increased 1.4 million for a total of 15.5.
But you
So
had a
the-
difference that you indicate that with the difference, the 1.4.
So we had a surplus in fiscal 25 of 1.4 million. So a lot of that was attributed to different building permits. There was a tract that came in and it pulled a lot. So it really depends on how much development we have that year, how well we do in buildings, but there was a significant amount that was attributed to building permits that came in.
So then, on your next slide, on 26, that 1.4 million is included in your beginning fund balance?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So we can move into fiscal 26. So as you see, the beginning balance 15.5 million. Our proposed revenues, we will hit 21 million, just over, and our proposed expenditures at 19 million. Ending, we're looking to end the year at 17.6. So again, a surplus of $2 million. Okay, and then going into fiscal 27. So I have option A and option B. And first, I brought you option A. This is including a fourth beat for those police officers. So that beginning fund balance of 17.6, our proposed revenues of 23.7, with our proposed expenditures at 23.6. So this is a balanced budget that we are bringing you with an ending fund balance of 17.7. There is a surplus of 126,000 there. What we do want to note is we are currently going through a cost allocation study with our consultant, and we are looking at possibly that surplus being absorbed into the general fund. So it will still bring a balanced budget to you, but that could go away as we evaluate the cost allocation.
So,
Yeah.
I didn't see anywhere in this proposal that, because you just talked about the general fund. And that difference could be absorbed in the general fund.
Mm-hmm.
And that general fund would be considered the savings account for the district, or what?
No, the general fund being your general fund departments,
Okay.
your buildings, the city manager, the city council, city clerk, all of those departments make up the general fund.
So in each of those departments, we have a positive balance at the end of the year.
Not necessarily in the departments, in the fund overall.
Okay. So we carry negatives for some of the departments.
I'm not sure what you mean by negative. I mean,
Well,
each
either
one's
they
stay
generate the
within
revenue
their
or they don't.
budget,
Either
right?
they generate the revenue or they don't. But, that's
Not every department is a revenue
Revenue
generating,
generator.
yes.
got that.
But each department does provide services to other departments, right? So that's part of the cost allocation, that at the end of the year, we evaluate how much those services are weighted against. And so the enterprise funds, like
Right.
finance provide services to everyone in the checks that we process, in the payroll that we process, all of that, right?
And that's what the consultant's helping you with.
Yes, to make sure that those allocation methods are fair across the board and if anything needs to be adjusted. So we're saying that there could be adjustments in which would reflect against that number.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, so that was option A with the fourth beat adding in for the police officers. It was my understanding that we wanted to look at options if we wanted to prolong this and potentially do the fourth beat at a later time. So we also brought option B, which would be removing just the fourth beat of the police officers. So again, starting with that 17.6 beginning fund balance, proposed revenues of 23.7, but our expenditures would go down to just over 23 million. So increasing our fund balance to 18.3. So it would give us a surplus of 693,000.
So I don't know if you looked at this number, but, and Chief, you may have some thoughts on it, but if we add another beat, the likelihood of decreasing overtime would be significant probably, huh? Particularly since there's no tax on overtime anymore.
Well, absolutely. Like our minimum staffing is, if we added a fourth beat, we would potentially field 6 officers, right? A shift.
Right.
Our minimum staffing is 6. Like we'll go below minimum staffing. What it's doing is preventing us from working like a north and a south. Having one person in charge of everything north of the road tracks, one person in charge of everything
Right,
south of the road
right.
track. So by adding that, at least you're guaranteeing, even if one person calls in sick or one person
You
got
got
the
the you're
training,
covered,
that
right,
you still have 3 beat officers.
right.
So yeah, it would save on having to call somebody in if we fall below,
Okay.
those
I guess my question is, are they aware of that? The officers? I mean, if we're talking about bringing another,
That they could have reduced
We-
overtime.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
The officers right now aren't really looking for too much more overtime. They're getting calls.
that's all I
on
need to know.
everything.
Yeah, okay.
But they know that. We have that discussion all the time. If
Yeah.
we get this, it doesn't.
Does that partially offset some of that cost? I mean, not the whole thing, but there's a,
It offsets some of the overtime.
yeah,
Right.
sure. Good, okay. Thanks.
And I'd also just like to mention that we are meeting our fund reserve policy. Our reserve policy dictates that we have 35% of our expenditures. And so with the current budget proposed of 23 million, that would put us at 8.2 that we need to have, and we are sitting at 17.7. So we are meeting our fund balance reserve policy.
Do we have a slide on the current reserve?
On the next slide, the general fund balance. I did a historical review of where we've sat at for the last 5 years. So fiscal 23, we were at 11.1 million, fiscal 24, 14, in fiscal 25, 15.5. Fiscal 26, we're looking at ending at 17.6, and fiscal 27 ending at 17.7. So we are trending positive. Okay, now we'll move into the enterprise funds. One more slide, please. So again, starting with that fiscal 25 fund balance review of where we're looking to end for that fiscal 25 for the water fund, beginning balance of 9.3 and ending at 13.2. So they're seeing an increase of 3.8 million overall. Wastewater started at 9.8 with their revenue and expenditures. They are looking to end at just slightly over 10 million, a small increase of 193,000. Refuse at 4.7 with their revenues and expenditures looking to end at 4.9, small increase also, 250,000. And fleet maintenance is in the negative, so it's a negative 646, and they're looking to end at a negative 344. So they as well are seeing a surplus of 300,000 there. So they're climbing out of the hole. So that is fiscal 25, fiscal 26 for water starting at 13.2, projected revenues 10.5, projected expenditures 12 million. We are looking to end at 11.7. So that is a reduction of 1.4 million. There's been no changes to any of these, and that's why I just brought the high level overviews. Wastewater, beginning balance of 10 million, projected revenue 7.2, projected expenditures 8.3, ending at 8.9, a reduction of just over $1 million. Refuse 4.9, ending balance at 4.2 million, so another reduction of 700,000. Fleet maintenance, beginning balance of negative 344, looking to end at a negative 221, so still climbing out of that hole. That is a surplus change of 123,000.
So if you were to look at all of those enterprise funds, what do you anticipate? Does that include for FY 27, does that include the 17,754,000?
The 17 million is just general fund.
Okay. So, but it says impact on fund balance.
This is to the individual funds. So water saw an impact, a change of 1.4.
So how do we make up that difference?
You don't do CIPs.
Pardon me?
You don't do CIPs or you increase your revenues. So the enterprise funds have a lot of projects happening right now. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be
Right.
done. They're doing the ESG project. There's water wells that still need to be done. So right now, as you guys know, we are doing the rate study for the sewer department. When that is completed, we are looking to do a water rate study as well.
So are we restricted by California law with respect to assisting any of these enterprise funds?
Yes, one enterprise fund cannot pay for another. Likewise, general fund can't cover enterprise, enterprise can't cover general fund. There has to be loan agreements between the two funds.
Right. What I was getting at was, we have our general policy for our general fund,
Mhm.
and you said we were over our stated policy.
Mhm.
And I was just thinking in terms of, and rather than raising fees, is there a possibility to have a loan agreement between the two to assist with that? Just so we don't raise fees on citizens. That's all.
We can look at it at the time that we do the rate study. So the rates and fees have different legal definitions. So I just want to clarify it would be for the rates, not the fees. But we can look at if that's an option at the time that we do the rate studies. Right now, the wastewater rate study is getting ready to start. So we're working on the master user fee study and the cost allocation. The consultant who's doing that then will start on wastewater. That agreement was already approved by council. And then we're anticipating that early into next fiscal year, sometime probably early fall is when we'll start on the water rate study. So within the rate studies, we could look to see if that's an option.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So moving into fiscal 27, starting with water. Their beginning fund balance, looking at 11.7 million, proposed revenues at 10.6, proposed expenditures at 18.9, and ending fund balance at 3.5. So they will see a difference of 8.2 million in that fiscal year. And again, they have a lot of CIP projects that are happening this year. AMI water meters is the biggest.
So in that scenario, in what you just talked about, the rate study would wipe out that $8 million?
No, the rate study wouldn't wipe it out. The rate study would look at, so they're generally 5-year studies. So they project out for a 5-year period what our rates would need to be to cover the cost of operations. We also, like some of the projects that we're doing right now, you can't carry a really high fund balance in your enterprise funds. And so you have to balance the projects that need to be done with the fund balance that you're carrying. And so you will see sometimes, like for refuse, we have intentional spend downs with purchasing the refuse trucks that were approved
Right.
at previous council meetings. So you will see some intentional spend downs from the fund balance, and it's intended to be that way. But there may be a rate increase needed. Generally, you do a rate increase and it's good for 5 years. But we don't know until the study's done, so it's hard to say right now. It might be that the rates are good. We just did the refuse rate study and we didn't need to increase rates, so that is a possibility. But we won't know until the rate study's completed.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it in terms of stabilizing costs for people, in terms of if there's opportunity for loans between funds and all that kind of stuff. I know it's additional work, but if we're limited by how much we can carry in those funds, it might be a better way to use it, just like the spending down of the accounts too. That's all.
Okay, moving on to fiscal 27 wastewater fund. They have a proposed beginning balance of 8.9 million. Their proposed revenues are 11.1 million, expenditures at 17.3 million, with an ending fund balance at 2.7 million. So they will see a difference of 6.1 million in that fiscal year.
So that debt service is for, what are we retiring?
The debt service is for the loan payment for the ESG project.
Gotcha.
So fiscal 27, the refuse fund, beginning fund balance of 4.2 million, total proposed revenues 5.2 million, proposed expenditures at 6.6 million, and an ending fund balance of 2.8 million. So a difference of 1.4. And as we discussed, they are purchasing several vehicles this year. So lastly, ending with our fleet fund, fiscal 27, a beginning fund balance of negative 221. Their proposed revenues are at 1.4 million, proposed expenditures at 1.3 million, with an ending fund balance of negative 183. So they will see a slight surplus of 37,000. And that is all I have. Do you have any additional questions, suggestions? Are there thoughts on option A or option B for the general fund?
Questions for the beats. All the costs for equipment, cars, all of that is in that dollar amount.
Correct.
Yeah.
No additional vehicles would be needed
Okay.
for option A.
Okay.
I noticed we're electrifying our fleet. Do we have a plan to get to all of them or some of them? Or what's the?
State of California says yes.
Well, it would certainly decrease the maintenance.
It's an increase to maintenance, is
No,
that what you said?
decrease the maintenance in terms of.
Yeah,
For a little while. Yeah. So you got to change your battery.
Yeah.
We are going to need some direction from council if you would like to proceed with the fourth beat when we bring you the budget for adoption. It would be staff's recommendation to do so, but it's up to you. I will say that realistically, even if we flew the positions now, they're not going to be staffed by July 1. So your number is going to be somewhere between that 100,000 and 600,000 by the time that they would get started. But it would be our recommendation. The chief, when we were talking about the sales tax measure, had some interesting stats, but I don't remember the year that you said that we established a 3-beat system and we've been operating that way since then. But it was like the 1970s or something, wasn't it?
Wow.
It was a really long time that we've been operating with a 3-beat system. And so the recommendation is to add a 4th beat, which would improve response times and keep the city safer.
In the 70s, our population was probably about 6,000 people. That's wild. I do have a question on the A or the B. Is adding a 4th beat, does that look like it's sustainable in the future?
at this time, I believe so. Our Measure S sales tax revenue is very strong. The percentage is only increasing from here, what we have expected. We had our meeting last week with HDL. We will see a slight drop in fiscal 27, but from there it only increases. So it's our revenue sources are staying strong.
Any other questions or comments from council?
Well, so like in a police budget, so you're gonna carry the same amount of money over and overtime? Or are you gonna reduce that?
We did not reduce it in fiscal 27, but
I didn't reduce it.
Why not? If we're gonna give you if you're gonna get 4 more officers.
to be fair, when they put their budget requests in, it wasn't a topic of discussion of adding in the 3 officers yet
Okay.
for the beat.
There's too many, I mean, we rarely go over our overtime budget. This year was kind of an anomaly just because we lost quite a few people this year.
Yeah.
But in years past, we typically don't go over. but I like to be prepared for the worst.
Yeah. You guys will figure it out. Yeah.
So before council gives direction, I want to go ahead and open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment about budget?
Evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Just got a couple quick questions in regards to the difference between option A and option B. With option A, was that dispatcher full-time or reserve? Full-time? All right. And then with that surplus, is there a possibility of opening another reserve position in another area? Or is that just kind of one of those, we want to slide over to try offsetting the cost of something else?
With that, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say with that balance of the 100 and something thousand that was in there, as Jocelyn stated, we anticipate it's gonna be absorbed when we redo the cost allocation, so there's not gonna be a true balance. It's gonna be close to zero.
That's all I have.
But they do have reserve positions budgeted. I don't remember how many are included.
Dispatchers. And.
Mhm.
That was very long, but that's the load over. Okay.
Okay, I've seen the slides for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, I'll bring it back to council for direction.
Does need a motion and all that, or are we just giving?
Just a consensus on direction, not a motion. It's a study session.
I'm good with adding the fourth beat.
That's 2,
Option A.
3, 4,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
5.
I would
that's
just like
clear.
a little more work on when we do the final budget to distinguish between our reserves in terms of the general fund and the reserves in terms of the enterprise funds, in terms of what we have to work with.
Okay.
In terms of if you ever get into that scenario where you might want to, I'm thinking of street improvements and things like that where being creative with the allocation of those funds in terms of how they,
You have to be very careful when it comes to being creative.
oh, I didn't realize that. but-
As
This
a
is
finance director, I'm
municipality.
just gonna put that out there that, yeah.
But as long as it's benefiting the citizens, like that we have a sidewalk that goes a whole block instead of cuts off in the middle and things like that, that helps refuse, that helps, citizen safety, all kinds of stuff. That's kind of creativity.
Thank you for that clarification.
I would like to say one thing. I appreciate your workshop, budget workshop number 3, because in past, and this stuff it's hard to understand and really wrap your mind around it, and you do a really good job of putting just like the meeting tis in there so it's easily seen. And I really like how you, yeah, that's why I'll stop. Yeah.
Like the option A, option B,
Yeah.
like one or the other.
Also like how you handle Frank too. I mean, you got to one slide.
We've talked, right? We've done that.
I also want to say thank you for the presentation. And it seems like each year there's just a little bit more detail added, something else that you think of that makes it even more clear and more transparent. So thank you for all the work that you and the staff do getting this together.
Thank you.
Yeah. It changes the dynamics of how the citizens look at us too.
Mhm.
I mean, we asked them for a tax increase. We got the tax increase. We're spending the money well. We're doing those kinds of things, and they need to hear it and see it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have item 2-2, study session, animal control ordinance. Chief. This will be
Good
fun.
evening, Mayor and Council. So a few meetings ago, I provided you guys with a broad overview of our animal control ordinance. Dr. Gornick mentioned that I should review the City of Long Beach's ordinance pertaining to animal control. There's a lot of similarities. I think the big one that kind of stuck out to me was the licensing of cats. They make it a requirement to license cats. If, Crystal, if you go down to page 9.
Before you start, Chief, I have, in all transparency,
Sure.
I thought something was going on. You know, I called animal control. I kept hearing this noise in my backyard. Right? And I called animal control and I go back there and I see this 4 or 5 little kittens. They snuck under my neighbor's fence and are in my backyard.
They're yours now.
Yeah. Well,
Now you have to like.
that's basically what she said to me. That years down.
Right.
But I thought to myself, did somebody put this on the agenda and then send these kittens over to my yard? Cute little boogers out there.
No, this was just based off of our last study session. I figured I would bring it to you if you guys wanted to implement it. I could bring it back as an ordinance. It mirrors the dog licensing policy requiring any cat over the age of 4 months to have either a tag affixed to it or a microchip implanted into it. And then they would have to register that cat with the city as we do dogs. That was the only kind of major thing that I saw out of Long Beach's when I reviewed it.
Yeah.
But again, I leave it up to you. And if that's something you are interested in, I can bring it back as an ordinance.
He's looking at you.
Well, the reason I liked it was because I thought it makes a lot of sense. Some people have dogs and cats. Some people have cats. Some people don't have anything, you know. But at least this is an opportunity to begin to control that, and it's a humane way of doing it. We're not treating one pet differently from another pet in terms of ownership and caring of it. So from that perspective, I thought it was very humane than just allowing feral cats out there. Because the answer I got from animal control was, well, there's a wildlife law. And I said, well, these little kittens are not wildlife, they're kittens, you know. And well, we got to go by the wildlife law, you know. I said, do we have that in our ordinance? They didn't know. So
well, it's still they're not necessarily wrong. They're our ordinance as it's written right now doesn't classify cats as nuisance animals. Meaning the other problem that we face is the animal shelters won't take cats. We don't have any place to house them. So the law, Penal Code 597 requires us to treat sick or injured animals. And that's the only time we're going to pick up a cat. Kittens, if they've been legitimately abandoned 3 days without the mother coming around, we will pick them up. We will try to make arrangements for them somewhere.
Yeah.
But we try not to get ourselves into that situation because we don't have any place to put them.
Then they're yours.
Then they're ours.
yeah. But the person did indicate the agreement that we had with I think it was Avenel, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, with Avenel in terms of
Avenel will take a sick or injured cat.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I don't think this is something I think this is something the citizens should have some weigh in on too. In terms of, I mean, I think this is a rational policy. I don't think it's an irrational policy. If you're gonna be a responsible pet owner, there's some things you have to do. There's more money spent on pets in America than there is on babies. So I mean, there's.
Really?
Say we do like a Facebook survey.
Why? Just put it on the agenda and see what shows up.
I'm just curious, do you think that this cat license tag ordinance would have an effect on the cat population in the city?
We're basing our decision on rational pet owners who are willing to come and register their cat. It's no different than dogs. Now,
That's the point.
it's the same if we were to mirror what we have written for dogs. If we did, let's say we pick up a sick or injured cat. The city of Lemoore is on foot for the bill. We're gonna take it to a vet. We're going to get that cat fixed. And then we're gonna have to pay that bill. If it's registered, it falls back on the owner. If we can determine, a lot of times with dogs, it's seems a little bit easier to track down an owner, even when they're not registered. It's typically repeat offenders. And then we impound the dog until it's registered, until it's spayed or neutered, and then they can have their animal back.
There's a fee for registering it though, right?
There's
Revenue
a
generated,
small
yeah.
fee for registering it.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, like, yeah, $15 a year.
Yeah.
So the answer was,
I think you're gonna get as much compliance out of
What did Long Beach have to say? Did they notice any difference?
now.
No.
No, it's the same. It's, again, if you're
They
a
probably have three
responsible
or four
pet owner,
shelters to work with. They're done.
yeah, if you're a responsible pet owner and you're registering your dogs with the city, your animals with the city, then you're not gonna have any problems,
Yeah.
you know, but I would say there's not a lot of people registering their animals until we come across them out in the neighborhoods.
Off the top of your head, how many dogs do we have registered in Lemoore?
I couldn't even tell you. They register, they initially have to register with finance.
Oh,
so it's close to accurate.
It's close,
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll get about 5 cats registered.
maybe 6.
Maybe.
Well, right now we have 0
True.
and we're willing to put up with that. So, you know, either we tell, if you're gonna live in the city, some things you gotta do, you know? Like you don't park your car on your lawn, you put your trash cans where they're supposed to be, you got pets, you register them. I don't know. It's called civilization, I mean,
So what would be the fine for not registering your cat?
Guided by you. Or we would have to,
Well, I'm asking for direction.
I don't know, what's the fine for not registering your dog?
well, it's compounded because you're going to have to pay, outside of any medical bills. You're still gonna have to pay the impound fee if it's going to get spayed or neutered, on top of whatever fee the city is going to impose.
Yeah,
So a couple $100.
Sure.
How many cats do we actually come into contact with animal control? Are we able to actually catch any of them, or are they?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming into contact with a lot of sick or injured. They get hit by a car, unfortunately, and we're gonna take it to the vet and try to save it. A few times a week, honestly. It's kind of a lot.
What do you do with a cat that is sick or injured? You take to the vet and then it gets better and you do what with it?
Take it to Frank's house.
Sounds like a plan.
If there's room in the shelter, we take it to the shelter. If we can get into one of the local rescues, we'll do that. We work well with Animal Haven. Animal Haven is typically at capacity a lot of times. So
It's almost impossible to find the owner.
in Kings County, there's limited resources and it's near impossible unless somebody comes looking for it. Typically, that's when we find it, or that's when we figure out who the owner is.
And then are they then liable for the vet bills?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, personally, I think it's a good thing for us to take care of cats like that. That if we had an ordinance and they were at least taken to get them healthy, and then they could go to either back to an owner if we can find one, or they go to a shelter or whatever.
I
Pretty
just
much
need consensus
what
to
we're doing
bring it back.
currently.
Yeah, are you looking for motion or consensus?
What's the next steps?
It's a study session,
Yeah,
so
it's just a study
consensus.
session, right? Yeah, I think we should move forward with it.
I have two.
Sure.
Got three,
You have four.
there's four.
I will bring it back. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to public comment. Public comment is in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens the item to the public. Any public comment at this time?
Good evening, council members. Forgive me if I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not much of a public speaker, but I'll try my best.
No reason to be nervous. We won't bite, I promise.
My name's Angel. I'm here in regards to an issue we've been having for the past couple years. It's in regards to a carport that my parents had made back in 2024. They did go through the process of getting a permit, and a permit was issued, so they did build with the valid permit. After a year, once it got built, the city kind of came back and said the carport isn't allowed because it goes against the codes that are set. After talking to the city because essentially none of this was explained in the process at the beginning. They did say that planning wasn't involved when they did the permit, which should have been the first thing they done, because right then they probably would explain that, these are the codes, whether it's allowed or not. And one of the copies, so essentially when we got it built, they asked for essentially some kind of type of plans. This is essentially what we sent them. I'm not sure if this was what they needed, because I'm not a contractor. I'm not sure if this is what they needed. But these are more of schematics, but yet they approved this to make a carport. So once we went to the city to kind of see what we can do, they were very dismissive, at least with me and my parents. They didn't really give us any options of what to do. Essentially was to remove it. After going back and forth, we got essentially a second permit to build, and that's what this is here. Again, stamped and approved. And it wasn't until later where they told us that that one is also not a valid permit, which I'm kind of glad we didn't go and try to fix the carport, because that would have cost a lot of money. And then again, we're in the same issue. So that's kind of what I just wanted to bring up, the concern, because I mean it's been going on a couple years. My parents are kind of stressing out. And it's like, I mean, the carport's not like bad, it's not ugly. I mean, we keep it maintained. And essentially that's kind of where we're at right now. So like I said, twice we had 2 permits given, but essentially they were told us they were no good.
Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
I think that's it. I did have, well, if you wanted to look at the picture of what it looks like, I did have another drawing of what the carport looks like. Because I did believe that the reason they said it needs to be removed is because they thought it was like essentially on the property of the other house, but if you look at it here where it's actually about 4 feet, that's our property still, so it's still within our property. I know the guidelines or the codes go against from, I guess, from the sidewalk coming up, but the actual width, there's no code on that. So that's just another thing I wanted to kind of bring up, but that's it.
What
Thank
kind of a remedy you looking for from the city?
Leave it the way that it is, because I mean, it costs us a lot of money to put it up. To fix it is gonna cost a lot of money, because if we fix it to make it smaller, so we're wasting more money and we're making it less usable essentially. I mean, I know there's a lot of carports in town. I feel like, you know, we actually tried doing the right thing and coming to the city to get one built, and yet we're the ones that are kind of like, you know, bad for you for guys for building it. So that's why I'm kind of hoping, you know, it just gets left that is.
You don't mind my asking, what did it cost you to put it up?
It was about $5,000.
Were you able to give the city, I know you gave some papers, did you give the city clerk a copy of the paper with the stamp on it?
I have a packet here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully that wasn't too painful. You survived. Department and city manager, oh, is there any other public comment? Sorry.
Council, Jose Verduzco with PG&E, just checking in to see if anything. I had a great meeting with your city manager about a month and a half ago. A lot of productive talks, just a lot of things going on, and look forward to seeing Mayor Pro Temp Gornick on Monday. We're going to do a tour of the nuclear power plant. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions for the tour guides and learn about nuclear power in California and you know how a lot of that supplies the power in Lemoore.
Good.
But
I'll have a chance to lean on you about Iona Avenue, make sure we get those lights.
you'll be with me in a nuclear power plant for close to 4 hours. So
Yeah.
we
Close
can
to 4 hours
discuss.
there and 4 hours back.
No, but any other concerns, you know how to reach me, and look forward to organizing more tours in the road and to Diablo. Thank you so much for your time.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to department and city manager reports.
Thank you. I just have a few. I wanted to remind everyone that we have coffee and community tomorrow at 8 a.m. at the rec center. It's open to the public. We have coffee and donuts, and it's very informal, just an opportunity for people to network. July 4th, we have our 4th of July block party and 250th birthday celebration for the US. That will be downtown on East Street around the Arbor from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. The Hanford Sentinel did a great article about it. All the information's there. We also have information posted on the city's Facebook page if you need more details. And then this is just a way advance heads up that city staff has to be out of the building at 711 West Cinnamon and 721 West Cinnamon for some crane work that's going to be done with the AC for the ESG project on July 13th. So those offices will be closed just that one day on July 13th, and staff is going to be doing a mandatory safety training at the Civic Auditorium. So people will still be working, but that office will have to be closed. And then I believe the chief has an update.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Our dispatch center has organized a blood drive. It is May 7th from noon to 4. The donation truck will be outside of 711 West Cinnamon over at the City Municipal Complex. And they partnered with Gaudis. If you donate blood, you will get 2 free tacos. So please come out and join us. And then just a brief update on the dispatch center. We've been up and running for some time now. AT&T cell phones are now pointed our way. We're still waiting on some more of the cell phone carriers start pointing the 911 calls our way. But they'll slowly start trickling in. No major headaches. We have had some opportunities when it comes to the fire page outs. It sounds like we've gotten that fixed. But it was all kind of in the back end with IT work, so should be good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and move on to consent calendar. Items considered routine in nature are placed on the consent calendar. They will be considered and voted upon in one vote as one item unless a council member or member of the public requests individual consideration. Item 4-1, approval minutes, regular meeting, April 21st, 2026. 4-2, approval authorization to purchase 4 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 electric vehicles to replace internal combustion engine fleet vehicles for Public Works Administration and refuse operation. 4-3, approval change order number 4, well number 14, DWT pump repair and testing. 4-4, approval Helena reimbursement agreement. 4-5, approval second reading of zoning map amendment number 2026-01, a request by Coker Ellsworth and Dan Pace to change the zoning from very low density residential to low density residential. The project site is located between Vine Street and Champion Street, south of State Route 198 in the city of Lemoore. APNs number 023-150-003, 002, 041, and 042. 4-6, information only investment report for the quarter ended March 31st, 2026. And our special meeting agenda, item 4-7, approval service fee extension for the Kings County Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Program and Service Authority and Resolution 2026-12. Would any member of council like to pull any of the consent calendar items?
4.4 and 4.6.
Are you sure? That's it? Okay. Anyone else from council want to pull any item? Would any member of the public like to pull any of the consent calendar items? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 4-1, 2, 3, 5, and 7.
Motion. Second.
The motion by
Oh, yeah, 7, sorry, yeah.
Councilmember Lyons and a second by Councilmember Brewster. Councilmember Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Brewster,
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz,
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Passes 5 in favor. 4-4. Did you have specific questions on that one?
Yeah. How was it? I know they had a request in for reimbursement on some stuff. Have we included that in this? Is this a new agreement or is it an amended agreement?
So I believe what you're referring to was the road improvements along Bellhaven that were requested by Helena and Leprino. And we have done those with development impact fees. So this is a separate item. So generally when a business comes in or a development is happening, they sometimes will oversize items for future development that's a benefit to the city and anybody who's going to come after them. And then they get either a credit or a reimbursement for the work that they did on behalf of the city. So this is in reference to some work that they've done back in the fall of 2022. Jeff, who's our city engineer, is in the audience if you have specific questions. But on a high level overview, there was some fees that would be reimbursed to them out of the storm drain impact fund and the street impact fund for improvements they did as part of their development. And it was for the greater benefit of the city and future development. It's not specific to their development.
Okay. So the was it pretty much a wash in terms of the fact that they were erroneously charged for the storm fees?
Well, yes. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? I'll bring it back to council for direction.
Motion to approve 4-4.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Lyons and a second by Councilmember Gornick. Councilmember Lyons?
Yes.
Councilmember Gornick?
Yes.
Councilmember Brewster?
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well, passes 5 in favor. 4-6.
Let's account the amount.
So for the investment report for the quarter ending in March 31st, we had a total cash investment portfolio of $82.7 million. And that is split up, every dollar that we can invest, we do invest. So 46.9 million sitting with our managed investment portfolio. Those are our long-term investments from 1 to 5 years. We have, we utilize the pooled programs as well for LAIF and CAMP. And at this time, LAIF is earning a higher interest rate. So most of our short-term liquidity funds sit there at 34.5 million. We keep a small balance in CAMP to keep it open, 48,000. Cash time deposits is the balance in our checking account, and we run that at about 1.5 million. So anytime we have an overage of that, we turn around and invest that. So we keep that investment going. We keep our checking account at a minimum at all times. We had one item that matured during this period, one US note treasury, and that was in turn reinvested out for an additional 5 years. So overall, our investment portfolio is managing very well. Year over year, if you look at fiscal 25 to fiscal 26, we earned like 40,000 less, but the interest rates have come down a little bit. So just depending on the interest rates at the time, and as we spend down those, the fund balance in those, we will likely see a decrease in our earnings. Okay, but overall, we are Optimize is performing just exactly as expected.
That's great.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments from council? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, this was an information only, so there's no action to be taken. We'll go ahead and move on to public hearings. 5-1, ordinance 2026-07, amending Title 4 of the Municipal Code to add Chapter 12 relating to the volunteer fire department.
I'm taking this one. So this ordinance is to add to the current Chapter 4, Title 4, Chapter 12 of the Municipal Code to add a section on the volunteer fire department. There's not currently anything in our municipal code that mentions the volunteer fire department and the agreement that the city has to utilize their services. So what we are proposing is to add one. And so in that proposed section, the first part of it is acknowledging that there is a MOU between the city and the volunteer fire department. And then the second section deals with discretionary response for calls of service, and explicitly stating that the volunteer fire department is expected to respond to priority 1 and priority 2 calls that are dispatched. However, priority 3 and beyond, the department has discretion as to whether they respond and when. And this is really to address efficiency and responsible use of resource issues, and giving the volunteer fire department that discretion to be able to utilize those resources the way they see fit and the way it's necessary. So this would be the first reading, waiving the first reading, if you would like to do that. Or I can take questions.
Any questions or comments from council?
I have questions. So in this policy here, or MOU, or whatever we're gonna call this, what's the definition of priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, and who has the discretion to determine whether it's a priority 1, priority 2, or priority 3?
The discretion lies with the volunteer fire department. This is not delineating the MOU itself. So the MOU is separate. What is defined as priority 1, 2, 3, I don't even know if there's a priority 4, is determined by the volunteer fire department.
Do we have that somewhere in our agreement, the other agreement with the volunteer fire department, that definition?
I don't believe so.
The only reason I say that is because if again,
Ambiguity.
stuff hits the fan. Who determines what 1 is, 2 is, and 3 is? And if there's not a policy or something that defines that, we're walking ourselves into bad territory.
Yeah.
Because like chief, I'm sure your policy is just like mine. Code 3 is determined by X, Y, and Z, and a certain person can tell you yes or no. I would just ask for a definition on what 1, 2, and 3 is. So,
Makes sense?
yeah.
And that would apply to dispatchers as well, right? I mean,
Well, it gives them some
guidelines.
direction.
Direction,
on, like,
yeah.
what they can, yeah. Because I'm assuming, a structure fire and a medical aid, depending on the medical aid, could both be priority 1 called, right?
I certainly am not an expert on.
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. So like, if you have somebody that doesn't know the field, you're,
Here we go.
yeah. I think that would help.
Training comes in.
Yeah.
The plan is, we would sit down with fire and knock out a hard and fast list as to what they do and what they do not want to be dispatched to from priority 3 force. But just like you said, we need some type of guidance as well as to what we're going to dispatch out fire to. We'll dispatch them to wherever they want to go to.
Does emergency services have any kind of a blueprint or definitions or?
They do, and there's calls listed in, in each category already. But again, it's also preference. A difficulty breathing call might be in category 3, but they still might want to go to that because it can escalate into something critical. Again, every call is different. Every call sounds different coming into the dispatch center. A lot of times a dispatcher is going to have to make that call. They're always going to fall back on, we're just going to page them out. We don't want to take on a lot of that liability as well. But this allows them to essentially say, hey, no, we're no longer going to subject feeling ill.
In dispatching calls, chief, do you guys use the word priority for like priority 1, priority 2 calls, or you guys use the word like code 1, code 2?
Code is more of a
It's-
response.
I think it's different on the law enforcement side of things. We don't prioritize anything. A shots fired call comes out just as a theft in progress, just like a shoplifter, whatever the case is.
So how about your response to a call? Do you respond lights and sirens to everything or to certain things?
No, our policy dictates, essentially when there's potential loss of life, something in progress. And even then, a theft in progress may or may not be a code 3 response, depending on, a theft of a car or theft, carjacking, right? It's still a theft of a car, but now you have a human involved versus a piece of property. A lot of it is, again, we rely on the officers to make those judgment calls every day, every call. If that officer feels like he needs to drive code 3 to a call, that's what that officer is going to do. And then he's going to have to fall on his sword if he violated policy.
I would add, I completely agree that there should be some sort of definition of what priority 1 through 4 or 5 is. I would not necessarily recommend that those definitions be part of the municipal code itself. Those definitions can be part of the city policy. It can be part of police policy or fire policy. But so that definition can be found elsewhere. So that definition can evolve a lot easier than having to change the municipal code each time.
Yeah, even if there's just a reference to the fire policy in the municipal code, I would be good with that one. At least shows that it's documented somewhere on what they should or should not be doing. So
Any
It's
other,
as clear as mud.
affirmative.
any other questions or comments from council? So I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Any questions or comments from the public on this item? None? None. All right, I'll bring it back to council for any final thoughts or direction or further direction, I guess you could say.
Clean up some of the verbiage. And then we need to,
A little bit of definition, yeah.
yeah,
Because I mean, I've worked for the fire department for 22 years and I don't understand priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. That's just not how we talk, or it's just not how we think. I don't even know what that means. I know in code 1, code 2, for us, code 1 response is lights and sirens. Code 2 response is just normal driving. We're gonna go and assist. And then we have a public assist on top of that, which is almost not even, I don't know, it's a whole nother thing. I don't know if that's the equivalent to a priority 1 and 2 and 3. I don't know, but the way chief talks, when he says code 3 or priority 3 response or code 3 response, that's lights and sirens for him. For me, that's normal driving. So I don't understand this. Boy, I thought there was gonna be a little bit more clarity.
Where did that language come from? Do we know?
Me.
Oh, that's fair.
But it went to fire.
It went through
Okay,
fire.
It went
as
to
well.
fire and fire was
Yeah,
good with the language.
Well, you know, this.
And I think that that's what EMS uses, if I'm not mistaken, because what I was used to hearing in Coalinga Fire Department was priority 1, 2, priority 3.
That's the term we've been talking to fire with the whole time.
No, I
Yeah.
get it. I understand. It's
I
just,
certainly I didn't come up with priority 1 and 2.
listen, as long as they're good with it, I mean, I'm good with it, but then again, they've obviously been hammering this out with you guys.
Section 412.2, discretionary response to calls for service. Our volunteer department is expected to respond to every priority 1 and 2 call for service that is dispatched to them. So we're dispatching it to.
Because we go to dispatch them.
However, the priority 3 calls and beyond, now what's beyond, the volunteer fire department shall have absolute discretion as to whether they respond and when. This discretion exists due to the need for efficacy and responsible use of resources. The purpose of this section is to ensure public awareness of these response protocols to allow for transparency and ensuring that the public maintains reasonable expectations. Well, there was a quote there, but
I will add that my understanding is that this is what's happening now. This is just putting it on paper. So this isn't necessarily changing anything. I just want to make that clear to the public, is that we're not creating a new system with this. It's really just putting on paper what's already my understanding of what's being done.
I guess I would like to see the work product of the police and fire sitting down what they agreed to. You know, chief said.
or just have definitions defined out in here following LVFD policy 1234.5, and you're then covered. Because right now, there's nothing there that you can, okay, with priority 1. A priority 1 for me is a gunshot victim that requires their lights and sirens response. So it just depends on what you're using. And if somebody does something wrong while they're driving or something like that, and the city's covered.
My question is there a written volunteer fire department policy? Is
I'm
there
sure there's policies.
something on paper?
Yeah, I know there is. I haven't looked at it.
I just want to make sure that this is referencing something that exists.
I'm sure.
Well, that's why I mentioned it's quote mark there, so I figured that might be something.
The starting quotation is at the top of chapter 12, because that's what's being added.
Volunteer fire department.
Yeah, it's just indicating that that's where the section begins that's being added to the municipal code. Or proposed to be added to this. my suggestion, based on what I seem to hear from consensus, would be that we wait on this until we have some sort of definition that can be at least referenced in the municipal code.
Yeah.
So can you continue the public hearing so it doesn't have to be renoticed?
Yep, we'll continue the public hearing for the next meeting, which is, yeah, I think
2 weeks ago.
May 19th.
May 19th. Thank you. Do we need to make a motion on that?
To continue public
To
hearing,
continue it?
yes.
Okay.
I make the motion to continue the public hearing.
I have a motion by Councilmember Brewster and a second by Councilmember Lyons. Councilmember Brewster?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyons?
Yes.
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Gordon?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Passes 5 in favor. We'll go ahead and, there's no new business, so we'll go ahead and move on to city council reports and requests. Councilmember Brewster.
Thank you, Mayor. Went to Cal City's conference or Cities Week in Sacramento a couple weeks or 2 weeks ago now. Had a good time over there. Got to do some talking with a lot of people. Met with Senator Hurtado and her staff, and then also met with Assemblywoman Macedo's staff. She was busy in a hearing at that time, but we were at an event after and I got to talk to her a little bit. Something I want to bring up is phase 2 of that Lemoore property off of Liberty is completely out of control and overgrown and is dead. There was a lot of things said that night that gentleman was here, and I would like some of that stuff addressed because I'm getting blown up about it and I see it every day when I pull out of my house. Also on my where I really work, we had a call for service over by Heritage Park. Me and Lemoore PD were out there running around. We had a shooting on the very south end or west end of Heritage Park off of Opal. 5 rounds were fired off at a house, and the house was struck all 5 times. One went through the window, almost hitting the citizen. So I would like to, hopefully, with how our budget and everything's going, see if we can get the lighting fixed over there, because that park is starting to become a little bit of a problem again. And then hopefully we're able to do something with cameras. Also, the poor bathroom over there is just a victim of vandalism literally every week. So I don't know what we could do. I don't know if we close it. I don't know, like at night, put locks on it. Something, I don't know. And then over at Little League, we with our sponsorships and fundraising, Kelly Dow, Lindsey Fuller, all those guys over there, they worked their butts off this year, able to raise enough money to get our perimeter fence up. So that is currently being constructed over there right now. So we'll be able to have that park fully enclosed. But with that, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Lyons.
The Lemoore Volunteer Fire Department had their golf tournament, and oh, you forgot about that?
I win.
Yeah. It was a big success, like it has been in the past, and I just want to thank everybody that participated, showed up, donated, all of it, because it really is a good cause and it goes to a really good place. And that's all I really have for right now. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Cruz.
Mayor, I just want to report that my daughter and I attended volunteer recognition with Red Cross in Fresno over the weekend. I had brief discussions with their executive director for Central Valley, Lori Wilson. They are in need of youth volunteers, so if you're interested, please contact any Red Cross chapter. Also, I offered her that if there's anything that Lemoore can do to support, please let us know. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Gornick.
I want to thank Jocelyn for the great report. Kind of puts everything into place for us in terms of moving forward. Thank the citizens for passing Measure S, because that's what's saving us, and it's good to see that we're on a nice trajectory in terms of looking at our organization as well as our budgets and maintain that momentum as we move forward. We're in the process right now of hopefully submitting our final Sigma report for the groundwater management program, and it's getting kind of tense with respect to how the state's going to respond to all the Sigmas in the area. But we have a bigger stake in it than we think we might have. And so it's important to stay informed with that group and how that water supply affects our growth and future growth, I should say, and maintain our current levels. So, I noticed we got a lot of work going on Bush on the south side with the curb and gutter. Do you have any kind of information on the rest of that curb and gutter on Bush from 19th to 19th and a half?
It's on my list of things that you would like done.
Okay, good. That's it.
That's it? Okay. I too attended the City Leader Summit in Sacramento with Councilmember Brewster. Again, met with Hurtado's office, I'm sorry, and with Macedo's staff. There was a few good sessions this time. That one was on water. That was a really good session. And then the last one actually was pretty good. It was 13 things to do if you basically want to kill your city. So it was basically like what not to do. So that was I think we're doing a good job of not doing those 13 things. So there's room for improvement for sure. But that was a nice kind of way to end the session. I also attended the volunteer fire department's golf tournament, which was like you said, a huge success. The weather was amazing. It was not hot this time, so that was awesome. And I hope they raised all kinds of funds to continue to support the Burn Center. I've had the opportunity to tour the facility, and what they do is pretty amazing. I also participated in the Virtual Valley Mayor's Panel with the Maddie Institute with 4 other small city mayors in the Central Valley, the mayor from Delano, the mayor from Coalinga, and the mayor from Kerman. And it was just talking about the challenges that we face as small cities in the Central Valley. I also last week attended the San Joaquin Valley Policy Council. There's so many different names, it's hard to remember them. It was a retreat. It's with the 8 counties of the San Joaquin Valley, and we do one voice trips to Sacramento and to DC. And it's basically this retreat was to for everybody to share what their goals and objectives were, and to everybody was really aligned on what those are. So that's great moving forward. There's not a lot of talking, trying to figure out what we're going to focus on. We're already kind of aligned, and that's probably just because they've been doing it for so long. We're all synchronized. But it was interesting sessions. Talked about all types of things, transportation. That's what that policy council covers. So there are lots of good things coming out of there, and we'll continue to work on that. And as we go to Sacramento and DC, I'll report back on those things. Also attended the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District CAC meeting today, which is the Citizen Advisory Committee. A lot of things talked about there, but one of the things I wanted to highlight was the winter season air quality change. And I know that you can't see this online, but in 1999 to 2020 winter year, this was the bad, unhealthy or above air days, and these were the good air days. And this is 2025, 26. There's all good air days and no bad. And that's the first time that's happened since 1999. So a lot of work going on at the air district. I did mention to CARB when they were on the meeting that a lot of our air quality, or some of our air quality issues come from outside of our air quality district, where we have the most stringent air quality regulations. some of our neighboring districts don't, and I was wondering what they were doing to address those. Basically, the answer was they're not held to the same standard as us, but they are aware that we do get stuff blown into our air district. So that was the answer. Everything else on the committees that I've attended is going as per usual. Not a lot to report back on, but that's all I have for that. So we will adjourn into closed session. We have 3 items. Item 1, City Manager Performance Evaluation, Government Code Section 54957, B1. Item 2, Property Negotiation of APN 023-430-012, Government Code Section 54956.8. And number 3, Conference with Legal Counsel, 2 cases, Jones v. City of Lemoore and Clymer v. J.R. Flauntz, Government Code Section 56956.9. So with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn into closed session.